Tonight, an OPP officer who died in the line of duty yesterday is being remembered in Kitchener. Constable Taryn Bally's death in Northern Ontario, sending shockwaves around different parts of the province. Good evening. For 2 years, Constable Taryn Bally worked in Kitchener as a bylaw officer with the city. Tonight, he's being remembered at City Hall, where flags have been lowered in his honor. Bally's 2 years in Kitchener left a lasting impact on his colleagues. Once he left the city in 2023, he became an OPP officer and was most recently based out of Orangeville, but was on a deployment in Northern Ontario when he was killed yesterday while trying to stop a vehicle in Hearst. An 18-year-old is under arrest in that case. Kitchener Mayor Barry Verbanovich releasing a statement late this afternoon saying Bally had been a valued member of the bylaw enforcement team and that his passing is being met with sadness, but noting that he will be fondly remembered by his Kitchener colleagues for his strong work ethic, positive attitude, infectious smile, and warm and approachable personality. CTV's Janice Golding now with the latest on the constable's final journey home and the investigation into his death.
Grim-faced first responders lined the route to the chief coroner's office today, a silent show of solidarity for a fallen officer.
We're brothers and sisters in arms, for lack of better words. We all serve the public and the community together, so it's very important for the three of us to be here to honor our fallen.
Paramedics alongside OPP and police from services across the GTHA gathering on Sir William Hearst Boulevard in a moving demonstration of respect and brotherhood, acknowledging OPP Constable Taryn Bally's service and sacrifice. The 29-year-old was killed over the noon hour yesterday, struck while trying to stop a vehicle in Hearst, Ontario, some 9.5 hours northwest of Toronto.
The accused fled from a hospital where he was being assessed under the authority of the Mental Health Act, and his officers attempted to safely apprehend the accused. Our officer was struck by a motor vehicle and killed while that motor vehicle was being driven by the accused.
Constable Bally, who originally hailed from Brampton, was a rookie police officer with just 2.5 years on the job.
He volunteered to fill a backfill in Northern Ontario to take on some difficult work. He wanted to help others, and to see someone who just had a good heart, who he was so young, has such a bright future ahead of him. It's heartbreaking.
Police officers have an opportunity to go up north to places like James Bay and do deployments for a period of time. It's kind of extra work for them, and they help with staffing shortages and things like that up in the north. So he was going in the extra mile in service to the people of Ontario when he was tragically killed.
The 18-year-old accused in this case was arrested and charged with first-degree murder, assaulting an officer, dangerous driving, and flight from police. The accused made his first court appearance while Constable Bally's journey to the coroner's office began. His body flown from Hearst to Lake Simcoe Regional Airport northeast of Barrie this afternoon before a police convoy made its way south on the 400 to Toronto.
I think all emergency service personnel have a duty to perform protecting the public. And when one of our friends and allied agencies get hurt, then we're here to support them.
A stark reminder of the perils of the job reverberating through the policing community. Officers gathered in a tremendous show of support at a time of tremendous sadness. 18-year-old Justin Verano made a very brief court appearance today but was remanded into custody. He'll next appear via video on June 24th. Janice Golding, CTV News.
Guelph has become the latest city to bring in a renoviction bylaw. It was one of 3 measures council approved tonight to tackle the affordable housing crisis. The renoviction bylaw requires landlords to get a license when displacing someone for a renovation and provide proof that the work can't be done with a tenant present. Council's also approved a rental replacement bylaw requiring affordable units to be built when a rental property with 6 or more units is demolished or converted. The third measure, a complaint-based vacant home tax, charging a 4% tax on homes left vacant for more than half a year.
People just flaunt it. They just they don't care. And I mean, these fines, in my view, they need to be like tripled as an incentive to like get these properties in order. And we, from an enforcement point of view, personally, I think we need to ramp that up. Some of these people, they just use the system. They just use the system and they pull an entire neighborhood down with them.
All of the bylaws were unanimously approved by council. City staff will also review the fines and propose any increases to be in line with other municipalities. Meanwhile, 2 organizations in Guelph helping battle the hunger crisis are looking for a new home. And in these tough economic times, they're also looking outside the city as they try to find it. CTV's Jeff Pickle reports.
Filling orders for members of the community who can access sliding scale pricing.
It's a large space with a grand purpose.
Come on in.
This warehouse on Huron Street, not far from downtown Guelph, is a piece of critical infrastructure for the Children's Foundation and the Seed Guelph.
We are kind of the centralized logistics hub and distribution hub for the community. We operate across Guelph and Wellington. In 2025, the Seed moved $3.6 million in food through the community.
Helping feed thousands of family and kids every day, this is where the food comes in before it's packed up and delivered.
And we have a stream where we're feeding kids in schools through our student nutrition programs and also at home on the weekends for those kids who are really in very extreme food insecure homes.
The use of the warehouse, a gift from the Wood Development Group, but their days here are numbered, needing to be out in the next 2 years.
Although we've had a great partnership with our landlord, Wood Development Group, for the past 6 years, this specific site is slated for redevelopment, and so we know that we have to find a new home.
This week, the charities went to Guelph Council to explore an opportunity to set up a new charitable hub just outside the city boundary on Elmira Road, a property also owned by Wood Development.
We are looking at that opportunity. We continue to explore lots of options. This really isn't about one option.
Council raised a number of concerns about the location sitting outside the city of Guelph, but the group says they are looking to speak with anyone with land who can help.
We're looking for a partner. If you have land, if you have space, we are both looking for short-term locations to meet our needs, but also longer-term locations that meet our kind of vision of really integrating food and supports and other services.
With over 200 volunteers working to get food to people who need it, they desperately need a new location to call home. Jeff Pickle, CTV News, Guelph.
On Parliament Hill today, Canada's plan to ban kids under 16 from social media platforms came into sharp focus. Federal Minister Mark Miller unveiling details of the bill and the harms he says it is aiming to help curb.
In 2023, there were 19,000 incidents of online child sex exploitation in Canada, which is a 500% increase in a few short years. Reports also show that online luring of children is on the rise. As a result of all this, kids exposed to this have a 4 times higher incidence of ideation and suicidal thoughts.
In addition to an under-16 social media ban, the bill would also regulate companies behind AI chatbots by requiring them to act responsibly. That would include measures such as crisis intervention protocols. The legislation would also create a new regulator. The bill covers 7 types of content. They include inducing self-harm, inciting violence, promoting hatred, and non-consensual intimate content. Here in Waterloo Region, we are hearing from parents who support the ban, teens who are pushing back, and mental health experts who say the situation is at a breaking point. CTV's Heather Senerin has local reaction.
As Canada's proposal for an under-16 social media ban becomes clear, some Waterloo Region residents say it's about time.
Doom scrolling, wasting time. I don't think they're getting as much personal and social growth as a human should.
The more they're online, the more they're exposed to all kinds of different, malicious things.
The Safe Social Media Act would force platforms to block access for kids under 16 and put new controls on those platforms and AI chatbots. For parents, the daily battle for control can be exhausting.
I won't let her post anything, but even the watching, I'm right next to her so that I can have some control over it.
But those who'd be affected most say a blanket ban misses the mark and could backfire.
I don't agree with it. I think it's stupid.
Some teens say kids will still find a way on.
They're going to see all their friends on like Snapchat or Instagram, and they're going to be like feeling left out.
I feel like putting more of like just like a screen time limit would probably be better than doing an overall ban.
While others see the benefits.
I think the amount of time people spend on their phone now is ridiculous. And I think social media has a lot to do with that.
And while the bill would allow exemptions for social media companies that can demonstrate they have sufficient safeguards for children, a local psychotherapist says she sees the attachment firsthand.
80%, I will say, a lot of them have a social media dependency, right? And even they have struggled to check in their messages during the sessions. Excessive use of social media is causing anxiety issues, depression, self-esteem, body image issues.
The measure targeting chatbots also resonating with mental health experts.
We certainly have had examples where a chatbot will assist someone in suicidal feelings or even putting a plan together that is really concerning and alarming. And without the proper guardrails in place and the proper monitoring, a youth can be left alone with those conversations.
Some say whatever it takes to get youth off their screens.
It's about building more spaces in schools for them to actually interact, force themselves to interact.
And participating more in human interaction. Heather Centerin, CTV News Kitchener.
A work perk that's turned into a down payment dispute.
If I ought to have known, or if they would have informed me, I would have changed my decision to move to Acton.
Just ahead, CTV Spencer Turcotte hears from a man at odds with his former employer over a program that helped him buy his home. Here's a look at our satellite and radar. We've got a lot of rain and some storm activity moving in over Lake Huron, expected to hit parts of southern and southwestern Ontario overnight. Taking a look at our temperatures, they are on the muggy side once again, ranging from 20 in Mount Forest to 25 in Windsor and Sarnia, but factor in the humidity and we've got another very muggy night out there. At this hour, it feels like 35 degrees in London, 34 in Sarnia and Windsor. And here's a look at the Grand River in Cambridge, the Park Hill Dam in the foreground, as that sky just would not open up for the sun fully today. Unstable air and some storms on the way this week. Ashley's got the forecast a bit later. I'll be back with more news in 2 minutes.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVKitchener.ca, your home for news.
An Acton man is at odds with his former employer over a work perk he's being asked to give back. The money was meant to help workers buy a home. But as CTV Spencer Turcotte tells us, the man says he left because they moved his office farther away.
J.S. Borley loves living in Acton.
It's a beautiful backyard, working on the grass. But yeah, we love it here.
He thanks his former employer, Crozier, for helping him buy a house. The engineering firm introduced a first-time homebuyers assistance program in 2021.
They'll give you up to $20,000 to purchase a house on the commitment that you stay there for 3 years. Without that, I don't think we'll be able to have done that.
And as long as the employee stays for the 3 years, the $20,000 doesn't have to be paid back. Jay Ash accessed the program in 2024. Things were going great, and he only had a short commute from Acton to the office in Milton. Then things changed in 2025.
The company made an announcement that they're going to actually be relocating the Milton office to Burlington.
Jay Ash felt that move went against the spirit of the retention program.
If I ought to have known, or if they would have informed me, I would have changed my decision to move to Acton.
He says it more than doubled his commute time and expenses, so he resigned from the company. But now Jayesh says Crozier wants their nearly $20,000 back.
They have the claim amount here, that they also want to claim interest.
A statement from Crozier to CTV News says in part, all participants agreed to the program's terms before receiving any benefit, including a repayment provision if they choose to resign before those terms are met. Jayesh recognizes that he did leave before his term was up, but says,
the move contradicts the program that they have established. Well, I signed this agreement under the idea that they'll be staying in Milton. Never in anybody's head, or in at least my head, that they'll be moving this far away.
So in this case, a program designed to help employees put down roots is uprooting both sides in a potential legal battle. Spencer Turcotte, CTV News.
A teen from a Kitchener high school is helping make strides in the medical world when it comes to treating patients with darker skin tones. As CTV's Karis Mapp tells us, an experience her father had prompted her to take on a science fair project that's now being recognized at a national level.
Gernor Kaur may only be 17 years old, but she's not letting her age hold her back from changing the healthcare industry.
I was really interested in inequity because I think that often the devices we design are made for one group of population, and then we don't consider how they'll work on our diverse demographics.
Her latest work began from an observation she made after her father was hospitalized a few years ago.
Nurses were so overwhelmed that they struggled to monitor his vitals on a regular basis.
She developed a prototype in hopes staff would be able to detect heart rate without needing to put sensors on patients.
But when I started testing it on messier situations, so like with varying lighting or movement, or darker skin even, it failed completely.
Which made her wonder what other technology is failing those with darker skin tones. And she found a similar scenario in blood oxygen sensors, a problem that wasn't new.
Pulse oximetry bias was discovered by Dr. Tobin in 1990s. In darker skin, the oxygen saturation level is overestimated,
leading to higher mortality rates among dark-skinned patients. Back then, experts thought the bias was because of small sample sizes, which wasn't the case.
It's in the actual foundational math and physics that build up the signal models we've been using.
After developing a new algorithm, Kaur's research earned her the top prize at this year's Canada-wide science fair.
These are professionals who had looked at it for almost 30 years trying to figure it out and couldn't. She got the root cause of it and then identified a solution using algorithms that ultimately will be able to correct the devices that hospitals and people use around the world.
Her research already piquing the attention of industry professionals.
A large pulse oximetry company actually saw my project board and they got into contact with me. So I'm working with them to continue to get more data and test my algorithms out on their larger data sets to see if they work.
And in September, Kaur will head to Germany to participate in the European Union contest for young scientists. Karis Mapp, CTV News, Kitchener.
And later on CTV News, finding the farmers of the future. A Huron County program looks to inspire a new generation of sheep farmers.
Well, we're in for another really warm night tonight, and another round of wet stuff is on the way. Just how much rain are we going to get, and when can we expect a cool off? Those details with your full forecast coming up. Stay with us.
And here we have another picturesque look at the Galt area of Cambridge. The sun setting, but being kind of blanketed by some clouds there. And that was the story of the day as we continue to see that unstable air associated with all of this humidity and low pressure. It's going to be bringing in some more rain. Some of you are seeing rain right now. Some of you will see rain overnight, and even a chance of thunderstorms heading into the morning. Here's Ashley with the forecast.
Well, I hope you've had a great Wednesday. It was definitely a muggy one out there, very uncomfortable at times with the humidity, but at least we did see a bit of much needed rain roll through the region, and we're in for some more. But before we get into that, let's turn our attention to our alerts board. Environment Canada extending a yellow heat warning for Windsor, Leamington, and Essex County with humidex values up to 41 degrees. So it is going to be really hot the next 24 hours if you're in that that area. Frankly, if you're in most of southwestern Ontario, you might want to keep an extra bottle of water handy because it's going to continue to feel really warm over the next few days. As we get into our futurecast, we're not seeing a lot of activity over Waterloo region at this point, but we will start to see some rain move through the overnight hours, and then first thing tomorrow morning, that's when things really pick up. We are expecting potentially some heavier rainfalls between around 5 and 7 a.m. through Waterloo region tomorrow, with spotty showers continuing throughout the day before another band of wet weather brings it on Friday. So we are not quite out of the woods, even though we might see some sunny breaks in between. It is still going to be a little bit damp out there. Overnight tonight, we're only dipping down to 19 degrees. So it's going to be a warm night for many folks out there. A light wind, a westerly wind of 20 kilometers an hour is expected. And once again, spotty showers with the potential of thunderstorms rolling through the region. Tomorrow, 28 degrees is the expected daytime high. So it's going to be another hot, muggy day out there. A UV index of 9 or very high as well. So if you're spending some time outdoors, especially while that rain stops in between the rain, make sure you're covering up your skin to be safe. A southwest wind of 20 kilometers an hour is also expected. Now, it won't be that warm for very long, so make sure we get out and enjoy it while we can, but do be safe. Have lots of water. We're not quite record-breaking. That was set back in 2005 at 32.8 degrees, so not quite that warm, but definitely feeling warm enough for many. Sun setting now at 9:02 p.m., so we're getting a little bit of daylight. As we take a closer look at our 7-day forecast, showers continuing for Friday at 26 degrees, and Saturday going to be beautiful, 25 and sunny. Similar conditions are expected for Lambton, Kent, Essex. As we mentioned, a heat warning is in effect for that region. 31 tomorrow, 30 on Friday, 29 and sunny on your Saturday. And in southern Georgian Bay, a risk of a thunderstorm for your Thursday and 19, showers and 25 for Friday, and Saturday, sunny and 24. Tony.
Ashley, thank you very much for that. Still 22 degrees outside our studios in Kitchener right now, but it's feeling closer to 30 with that humidity factored in. Back in just a moment.
KW's Bounce 99.5 has the music you just can't quit. Listen all summer for your chance to win. Turn the lights off, carry me home. With Bounce to your backyard.
Finally for us, a program in Huron County that's hoping to attract the next generation of sheep farmers. CTV's Scott Miller now on why they feel there's a need for this initiative.
When we process lambs out,
Michael Richards is looking for a whole lot more future farmers to join him in raising sheep in Ontario.
We as producers are only meeting 30 to 35% of the demand. So Ontario Sheep Farmers' new initiative is we want to meet the demand by 50%. We want to grow our industry to 50% of the demand by 2040.
Richards was one of the sheep farmers in Clinton recently, trying to educate nearly 50 students taking the specialist high skills major in agriculture about the advantages of an industry very few Ontarians and very few farmers, for that matter, are aware of.
I've come up from a cattle family, and I find that sheep are easier, they're easier to manage. I can do a lot of it myself with minimum efforts from outside help.
While Huron and Perth counties have a large rural component, most farms are highly specialized, raising one kind of animal or a handful of crops. The specialist high skills major course in agriculture is designed to expand those potential agri-food horizons.
We actually have a group from Goddard that are part of the hospitality and tourism, so they're more focused on the culinary aspect of it today, and so they're looking forward to the session with the chef in the kitchen where they'll get to prepare, it sounds like a high-end meal using the lamb.
Many of the out-of-class agricultural sessions, including ones with horses and beef cattle, have been happening at the Reach Centre in Clinton.
We want to bridge that gap that's being created by biosecurity issues, where kids aren't really able to get up and be that close to animals anymore and understand their personality and their traits.
Richards just hopes he can entice one or two of these future farmers to give sheep a shot, because the sky is the limit for an industry that isn't coming close to meeting market demand.
With only meeting 30% of the demand, we're able to keep that ceiling as an endless ceiling of growth.
In Clinton, Scott Miller, CTV News.
All right, that does it for us on this Wednesday, June the 10th. Thanks for checking in with us. You can find news anytime from our digital team over on our website. That, of course, is ctvnewskitchener.ca. I'll see you once again back here tomorrow at 6. Have a good night.